All right, everybody, welcome to round one, game one of the Covenant Store's Top 8 2013 Regionals. This is a very early regional, so you're seeing some really cool decks and kind of prototypes for what I imagine we'll see later on down the road. I'm Steven, and I'm actually playing on the left side here, and I'm joined by none other than Robert.
Hi, guys.
And we're going to talk through this game a little bit. It's always nice whenever, I guess, someone is in it that's actually commentating and kind of explain what's going on here. But long story short, I'm bringing a Longship Grief Raiders deck out of Greyjoy. And this was the undefeated deck going into the top 8, so I was the number 1 seed here. And looking for a good setup. The deck usually sets up 3 to 4 cards, and with House of Dreams, that's pretty good. Greyjoy does it quite well, and you'll see here setting up Longship Iron Victory, Bay of Ice, and Maester Kerwin, I believe. It's about the only single intrigue icon that I've got.
Yeah, and then on the right side, you're playing Jose, who's from beautiful Austin, Texas.
Beautiful Austin, yeah.
And he's also running a Dreams deck, but he's running Victory.
Victory, yeah.
Which you just set up, which is interesting.
Yeah, no, I'd played around with starting with Victory for a very long time. But starting with Grief and the Raiders, finally, I played with it a few days before this tournament, finally switched over, and it was...
Was it the right choice?
It was the right choice, for sure. There have been people telling me to do it. Nathan Bradley on TeamCovenant.com, if you haven't seen him around, he was one of the big proponents, and I eventually tried it out, and I did like it a lot. Opening with Fury here, and I do like to open with Fury. 5 gold, gonna win initiative. Bay of Ice is gonna draw some cards. And if you're playing Targ or Stark, then it's going to hit them. But most importantly, this is going to enable to be a Kraken, which is one of my favorite events and certainly a 2-of in this deck. So I want to make sure that when I draw those later in the game, I can actually play them, which is very important. Jose, beautiful opening here with Fear of Winter. I'd played him in the preliminary rounds. He kind of knew how the Raider deck got off to a great start. So I'm sure he wanted to shut that down. And I make a huge mistake here, honestly, playing Euron and thinking that I can probably, kill something of his or do something. I think I actually had a die-by in my hand, and then it only hit me later on that Fear of Winter was in play, and I couldn't then use it to kill whatever else he put out. So about this time, and especially once Jose plays this next card, I was kind of thinking, oh, wow. I'm about to get wrecked here. So
hosed.
He goes for the Iron Mines, which is an excellent play, really. Knowing now that he can bring Theon to 4 strength, beat Euron in a challenge, no problem, and he can get a 2-claim military off. So There's really nothing I can do about it here. And using that 1 gold to kneel Iron Victory just worked out for him really well. Definitely love that play. So this definitely is a slowing down type thing. Fear of Winter's doing its job. I'm going to get an Intrigue challenge, and should have went with Euron first, but at this point I was like 2 claim, moving on, thinking about next turn and what I'm going to drop.
Yeah. Your mind goes elsewhere.
It does. So 26 people were at this regional. I think we had 5 states represented, and great stuff. Greg was there, Greg Atkinson of Knights of the Hollow Hill design fame. I think 2-time world champion.
And Flea Bottom, if I'm
and Flea
not
Bottom,
mistaken.
yeah. So he was there, and it's always good when Greg's there, as is Will and Daryl from that Springfield group. You may know him from 2 Champs and a Chump. They're kind of around our stomping grounds, so we get a lot of good games in with these guys.
Though I dare say, there is not a chump among them.
Not a chump among them.
Not a chump among them.
No way. And just good people all around. And you'll see here, Jose, look at this. Taking care of the board. 2-claim military challenge. Just Theon does some work here.
See you, Steven's board.
And I'm not particularly worried here, honestly. As I remember, my hand was Ambitious Oarsman, had some Raiders going on. I really was ready to come out of the gate here. So luckily he didn't put out anything too big and threatening. So I dropped Take Them by Surprise to win initiative.
Gold back.
I want to get more Bay of Ice, and again, 5 gold. I've got at least 2 5-gold plots in that plot deck, pretty much at all times. So when you have 5 gold and get an Oarsman out to kneel a couple warships to get even more, you can really start laying the Raiders down.
Some saves.
So now you'll see when the Fear of Winter is...
Unload.
When the Fear of Winter is gone, it's quite a different open here. And this is really what the typical first turn is going to look like. And for Jose, it's a matter of can he get the choke on strong enough, and we'll see if he does. The White Raven there, of course, which Winter's a lot less of a big deal. Choke's a lot less of a big deal when you are built around going first.
Yep.
Obviously, Longship Grief, built around going first, so all my plots are high initiative. Got the Cogs in there, got the Bay of Ice. So he's not going to be able to hit me right off the bat with this choke, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So there's the Oarsman.
Circumventing those Wintertime Marauders and Ice Fishermen is absolutely critical.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ambitious Oarsman comes out for 1, which is going to open up at least a couple more gold if necessary. At least 1 more gold from Grief, which is really nice whenever your House of Dreams location is basically economy.
Yeah.
So that's 2 gold, pay an extra 1, 3 gold total for Iron Fleet Captain, judging by the icon spread. I can see right through the glare.
And the glare.
And then 3 for a Bloodthirsty Crew. So 2 Raiders come out on the second turn here. And when they're not kneeling during the first challenge, it kind of just changes everything that's going on, you know?
Well,
Definitely
yeah.
just...
Mainly the second challenge is what it changes.
Yeah, mainly the fact that it's pretty ludicrous how much economy you can really get out of these guys and how many challenges you can really do.
Yeah.
So it's excellent, and I'm quite happy with looking at Euron and Kerwin over there. It's like, why are you guys dead? What if Euron wasn't dead?
Can
right
you imagine
now?
if Euron was out for this? This would be insane.
Yeah, it would certainly go a bit quicker. And we've got to shout out Jose from Austin, like we said, Larry and Daniel as well. Everyone who comes in from Austin, from Kentucky. We had Dodd, and it was just...
Had some guys from Arkansas, too.
Yeah, guys, everyone from the site that I kind of recognize. It's really cool to see everybody from the Team Covenant site get together in actually a physical space and have a good time.
Yeah. It is truly awesome. So now Jose has a weird predicament because he knows you kind of have control of this board suddenly and again.
And, you know, this is the thing. Raiders just kind of came out of nowhere here recently, only because, I mean, you start looking at the Iron Fleet Captain, and he really is the central piece of why Raiders work now. So we're going to, of course, burn and pillage the Iron Victory.
Mm-hmm.
But the Iron Fleet Captain brings a military threat and a rush threat. You know, 2 icons stealth for only 3 and 3 strength. He's a raider. Bloodthirsty Crew is money on intrigue, deadly and intimidate. He generally, I don't know of a single time I've really attacked with him and lost an intrigue challenge. If you want to swing with somebody who can actually defend the challenge, you usually don't want to lose him to deadly. But if you want to, you know, jump in there with a little guy, then he's just going to get intimidated, especially if Iron Victory is out. So he's just absolute money on intrigue challenges. And when Greyjoy can win the card battle through intrigue challenges card draw like Bay of Ice, it's pretty ludicrous.
The thing that's always interesting to me to think about a Raider deck is that there hasn't really been a new card for this deck, especially the one that you're running, for about 6+ months.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of the mid packs of the previous cycle, which was Across the Narrow Sea, where you got your Iron Fleet Captain and Grief and all this kind of a thing where they just exploded.
Yeah.
But it's still taken all this time for that deck to kind of coalesce and come into its, I guess, ultimate incarnation here. But here we are, first challenge up, military,
probably stopping Theon and triggering that response on the unopposed.
Yep.
Then coming in for the intrigue challenge, which leaves, of course, the military up if needed, or it could go for the power challenge too.
Finger dance, that's a big deal right now.
And Bloodthirsty Crew going to hit triggers. All these raiders kind of these guys are the all stars.
Oh man, discarding a Wintertime Marauders is huge.
It's a big deal. Yeah,
that is huge.
Nice.
I was actually seeing Jose play Josh Slane earlier in the day, and Josh was running his PBJ deck, but it did an intrigue challenge against Jose, discarded Wintertime Marauders, and Josh literally said, "Oh, thank God."
And you notice coming in here on the power challenge as well, that's 1 for unopposed, 1 for the trigger, and 1 for just the power off the house. So
it's too much power.
That's 3 power right there from one challenge.
It's too much.
Guy. And Jose rightly, I think, swings back with a power challenge, trying to slow it down.
Damage control here. Because it's not so much the board right now. You're going to rush to 15 real quick here.
Yeah, and you're looking at this, and this is a bad position. You've got 1 character, 3 raiders, 2 of which probably are going to be non-kneeling on the attack here up front. Mm-hmm. 2 saves, so you can't really Valor. And this is what the aggro Greyjoy decks do. And I feel like the Raiders are probably at the front of that pack right now.
Yeah, I would agree. So what kind of plot are you anticipating him to play here?
It's not going to be Valor. I'm probably going to be looking for a closer plot here, honestly. I'm at 7 power. If I can drop anything with Renown, if I can draw into... I've got a couple Long Claws and some Capture the Iron Fleets in the deck. So we're going to see. And, manning the city walls.
Nice.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
Must have had an army.
I was expecting maybe like a Rise of the Kraken from you or something like that at this point, because you're so close on it. You're probably really good at doing the math real quick, but I figured that with the unopposed challenges, you could close it out in a pinch.
Yeah. And, at this point in the top 8, you're kind of not playing it safe necessarily, but you don't want to take any chances, especially when you're in control of the board, especially when you drop out King Balin's Host.
Which is crazy.
This is an 8-strength army that's going to take away all keywords from his characters, so...
As long as it's standing, right?
As long as it's standing.
Yeah.
So if Jose wants to throw out anything, maybe Carrion Birds or something, try to get some claim going, just going to shut that right down.
Yep.
And now you're looking at a board that's even more significant. And the thing about manning the city walls, even in winter, with Ambitious Oarsmen, we're looking at, this is easily, I can get out a 3-cost Raider right now, unless he kneels one of those warships with Theon.
Right. Which he might. Let's see what he brings out.
Another
Burned and Pillaged.
And it's like, well, I'm at 0 gold anyway, so...
Yeah, those reducers are really the bane of any choke deck, because I know as a Lannister player, they can be a problem. Generally, I can get enough gold out that it isn't too much of one, but if you're more or less any other house, and most of the time Greyjoy is one of these, that if you get choked down, it's like, man, I just don't have the gold. But Raiders with that Ambitious Oarsman, it's just in such a unique position to just flood the board no matter what.
Yeah, the deck actually started as a Raider, winter choke deck, so... As it evolved from that over the past month or so, I think it held a lot of its I can survive low gold situations tech there. So we'll see what Jose does. Got a little bit of gold left here and a reducer, a Sunset Sea. So he definitely needs to make use of this and drop something scary
There
out.
It is.
There you go. Wintertime Marauders is what you want to drop here.
Yeah. Probably the best card in the Greyjoy arsenal. It's a little conditional, but the reward, I think, is every time 100% worth it.
Yeah, and as a Raider deck, this is the last thing you want to see, because everything that you have is non-unique.
Yeah.
Euron is now dead. The only other, you were talking earlier about what Raiders have gotten recently, the only thing is Victarion.
That's true, I forgot about him.
But he's supplementary. He's not a primary factor in this Raider deck. I don't know. He may be more of, I think he's a 1 or a 2 of. I ran him at 2 of in this deck. I kind of made that swap at the last minute, right that morning actually. But he didn't really do much on the day. He kind of comes out a little bit later than you want. You can't reduce him with the Oarsman. You have to spend all your gold on him generally. And while his effect is excellent, and I've used it to great effect, it's not always the best.
Yeah.
Euron, however, is absolute money.
How many times did that come into play where your opponents couldn't play events and that kind of saved the day? I mean, not that you could really know that.
Yeah,
but
it's just the safest feeling, especially when you're sitting on a die by the sword. You know it can't be canceled.
Sure.
So here, blocking Theon, remember, don't kneel to attack or defend during the first challenge. So can defend it for free and not worry about a thing. Even if he swings in with everything, there's no way that challenge can be won.
Which is just nuts.
With Balin's Host sitting over there at 8 strength, no keywords on his side, I can easily kneel that guy down to block.
The thing that's crazy about this board, though, is that you can really more or less do whatever you want, even going second, just because you can keep those guys standing for that first challenge. And now you still have Iron Fleet Captain who can stealth somebody when he wants to come in for whatever challenge you need, yada, yada, yada. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy.
Very quick.
It's crazy.
And so we'll see what Jose wants to try to push through a Marauders challenge somehow, but
yeah,
I'm more than familiar with Marauders, so I'm trying to not let that happen.
Yep, got to be ready for it. That's like the reserve just waiting there, swooping in, and then it'll just ice ya.
Yeah, so the Ice Fisherman comes in on a power challenge, and I'm just going to chuck Balin's Host here on it in case there's shenanigans, and so I can get all those Raider effects on the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to stealth that Wintertime Marauders for sure, and really push through all 3 of these challenges.
Now, is Balin's Host just army traded?
Balin's host.
Or is it like Ironborn or anything like that?
I believe it's just Army. I hope it's not Ironborn. Honestly, I've never used it for any purpose that would require it. I've never finger danced with it, that's for sure. Maybe it is, though. It strikes me that it might be Ironborn.
Yeah.
It's one of those black border cards that you only see when you when you like pull it from the depths.
But here's an interesting scenario. So you're obviously going to come in probably for military, stealthing that Marauder.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any gold left, Jose, to kneel out your warship. So you can also win on power if you want to.
Yeah.
And then still have a guy standing for dominance. No, he has a cog, so he would get dominance.
And the only issue, though, is that he also has that Iron Victory.
Correct.
Which was very important. So all of his Marauder's
you're
basically
intriguing.
at 5 strength.
Yeah, okay.
And those Claim 2 challenges, manning the city walls is such a good plot because it allows you an effect that you want. And on top of that, it throws in the 2 Claim. And that could just be a game-winning factor. This is a late include in the deck, manning the city walls. And it's a card that I had liked at first when it first came out, then kind of didn't like. And after this regional, definitely enjoy this card.
Yeah, if you have the right board and the right card in hand, that plot can be absolutely ludicrous, especially when you get that sweet A-cost army out for free. It's crazy.
So again, it's kind of an interesting. The game is pulling away from Valor here a little bit, just Game of Thrones in general. Jose just can't really gain anything by dropping Valor here. He can save his Marauders. I save the Iron Fleet Captain and probably the Bloodthirsty crew.
Yeah.
And he's going second. He's got 0 claim. There's just really not any way to pull out with a Valor. So he's got to look at a different plot, I imagine.
This is the turn I expect. Take them by surprise. Or Rise of the Kraken, excuse me.
Forgotten Plans is a perfect
play.
Oh,
man,
here.
Yeah, excellent. I remember seeing that now, yeah. And I was like, whoa, that was a great play by Jose. Really blocked that out.
It's going to slow it down for sure. And it leaves me with 1 gold kind of for nothing. But
actually,
the problem,
0 gold. It's winter.
Yeah, the thing with that plot is it's an 8-2. Like, it's still, you're going first and you have 2 claim. So even when that text is blanked, it's going to really help me get that 2 power from the power challenge, which is very critical.
That's true. And even that plus your Iron Fleet Captain, that'll put you up to 13. So if you can somehow
he's got
scrounge
2
up a renowned character
on.
Or something, I don't know.
Unopposed Intrigue. I mean, it's...
Where's your Asha when you need her?
Jose is looking at this, and I remember we were great dude. We were just chatting during this whole game, which is really nice. Because Thrones can get intense.
Oh,
but,
very.
You know, it's nice whenever you're just chilling. And Jose looks like he didn't draw into any economy, too, which has really been hurting him this game. You notice that, I think it's that Street of Steel. Is that what's on his discard pile?
Yeah, I believe so.
From that Intrigue challenge or from the Bloodthirsty Crew mill effect. And he puts out a Winter's Armada, which is only on the attack, so I've got no worries there. And I believe that's all he's going to do, yeah. So this is a pretty easy wrap up, honestly. At this, Jose knows it. I know it. Though I think we all know it.
It's sad but true. You're just gonna steamroll them without any board out or economy to have a board out. It's nuts.
And this is sometimes just how the game can get off. You know, it can get away. Without those Iron Mines and a Valor coming in, it would have been completely different.
Yep.
Jose's gonna save his Wintertime Marauders. I'm going to trigger the Iron Fleet Captain there to get a power on him. On the military, then we'll do an unopposed Intrigue challenge, of course. Claim 2.
2 claim, man. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
You get 1 for unopposed.
Yeah, and then finally the power challenge.
Yep.
And just stealth through the Marauders.
Yeah, stealth is really good. We've seen a lot of stealth recently. Threw it all in just for, I guess, icing on the cake. Make sure no shenanigans happen there.
So that's that. Moving on to the top 4, it was a great game against Jose. It was just not a good matchup for him, honestly. And this is how sometimes it goes in regionals and big tournaments. It depends all about who you get paired up with. You know, if his deck was against something that couldn't handle the choke quite as well, -3 gold, like I dropped 2 1-gold plots in a row because I didn't care about gold.
Right.
Whereas somebody who might need it a lot more, this would have been a lot better matchup. So thanks to Jose, and thanks guys for watching, and we will catch you at the next round of the top 8.
See you.